And now it's Deborah Kobylt Live.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me today on our show, Deborah Kobylt Live. And I've got Angela and her son, Jake McFarland. And they run and operate Coffee Closet with Barista Jake. And that would be Jake there in the yellow sweatshirt. Beautiful. I love it, Jake. So excited. And also, you guys run a nonprofit called Jake's Baristas. Love it. And Mom, why don't you take it away? Tell us all about the coffee shop and also the nonprofit.
Sure. Okay. So,
all good.
We started the Coffee Closet with Barista Jake in the middle of the pandemic. We actually started it in May of 2020 to give Jacob something to do. Because we were all in lockdown, he couldn't go to his vocational program that was part of his academic. He was an extended, basically he was called a super senior. If you have an IEP, you can stay in school until you're 21.
That's okay. That's okay, Jake. We're not quite finished yet, but why don't we just tell our audience, perhaps why Jake even got up? Why don't we explain to them the situation? It's all fine. It's all good. He'll come back. Tell us.
Jacob is 22. He's autistic. He has severe ADHD and severe anxiety, and he doesn't always follow directions very well.
It's so good for my audience who's tuning in just now. There he goes. See, here comes Jake. He's coming back. It's all good. So talk it really. I'm as patient, and so is our audience as can be. It's all good. People can come and go, and we've got the gist of what's going on here. So okay. Jake has, go ahead.
He's got autism, he's got ADHD, and he's got severe anxiety. He was unable to go to school just like everybody else during the pandemic because of the shutdown. And we were doing online learning. Our record store was shut down. Our family-owned business was shut down. So it was kind of twofold. We said, let's do a curbside coffee cart, number one, to give Jacob something to do. And number two, to keep our customers aware that we're still here, our customers for the record store. And
so Jake, go ahead.
Jake,
I was going to ask.
No. Jacob had been making coffee at home for his father, for our family, and he makes me hot tea for a while. And we jokingly referred to him as Barista Jake. So it just kind of became like, hey, let's do this thing. And it went really well. It was a Saturday afternoon. He was overwhelmed at first because it was the first time that, number one, he had been out and around people in months because of the pandemic. And number two, it was very fast paced. There was a lot. So his anxiety was really at its highest. I kind of thought I broke him because he was super quiet towards the end and was sweating. And when we got home, he took a shower, he was relaxing. And then he said, Mom, I had a really good time today. I'd like to do that again.
Oh. Wow.
So he did it again. And the community just rallied around him and this little vision, and more families that knew us from the special needs community and just being small business owners reached out with interest in us working with their children, having their kids kind of shadow, and just really latched onto everything that Jake was doing.
Jake, your mom was saying you make a mean cup of coffee and tea. You really enjoy. Yeah. Tell me about it. Tell me about your job, would you?
I've been making coffee during the pandemic. I've been serving my mother and father their drinks. So is my nan, and I serve my pop too his coffee as well.
Honey, no,
that is so adorable. But let me ask you, what did it feel like, right, when people in the community, right, your neighbors would stop by and they wanted your coffee? I mean, that you actually had a business, right, serving coffee. Well, how did that make you feel?
It made me feel very happy and very excited.
Yeah. But you must also be proud, Jake, because you're doing a lot for the community. They look up to you and you're giving them something that they look forward to every day, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So when this went from being a cart, right, a coffee cart in front of Dad's record store, and by the way, I'd like to say this is in Norristown, Pennsylvania, a nice close group of people, a lovely community. I know I have family nearby. It's really terrific. You rally around each other.
Yeah.
Let's just say
absolutely.
it's not necessarily Los Angeles. How about that?
Right.
But I love that. So when you brought the coffee inside and when it became more of a business inside, tell me about that.
So the first couple times we did it, it was just on folding tables outside. And then he made a tremendous, people were very generous. We were just going to give this coffee away and people were donating money to him. And we took some of the money and we had a coffee cart built for him by a friend of ours, but the rest we donated to a local charity. So our very first charity was the Norristown Best Buddies organization. Then the second one was the Jake Miletsky Scholarship Foundation, both of which are programs and scholarships out of Norristown Area High School. Philanthropy has always been very important to us as a family, and really driving community and bringing people together is something that has been paramount for us as a family. So when we brought it inside, my husband's best friend, John Dallas, had built this cart and it was enormous. I had texted him a couple of pictures and said, can you make a little something like this? Because he's crafty and good with woodwork. And he made this monstrosity that is like 80,000 pounds. That's an exaggeration, but it's big.
Oh.
And we did like a soft grand opening on the same weekend that we were allowed to reopen the record store. So we opened in our county, we had to open in phases during the pandemic, just,
right.
I think it was that way all across the country, but in our county, that's what we had to do. So we launched the grand opening of Coffee Closet with Barista Jake the same day that we could reopen Vinyl Closet Records. So Coffee Closet is a spinoff of Vinyl Closet Records, if that kind of makes any connection.
Yeah, kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
It's really cool. But
well, everything Jake does is about his dad, so this was kind of where that tied in. But the day that he opened, he actually did more business than his father did, which was both amusing to me.
Well done.
Yeah, exactly. People were lined up. I mean, the line was astronomical, but it was kind of cool. And then we started finding that more and more people were coming from all over the place. I had previously had a Facebook page, like a blog, where I was just kind of talking about what it was like raising a kid on the spectrum. But the funny stories about it, not the negative, not the sad part. Sometimes I would vent, but for the most part, it was the comical things that he did. And it really got a great following. So a lot of people from around the country started messaging and saying, when are you going to get t-shirts? And we have followers in the North Pole that were sending me coffee, and followers in overseas that wanted t-shirts. Yeah. So it really just kind of snowballed from there. And then we formed the nonprofit, and we now hire other special needs teens and adults to go through our program, which is an internship program. And they develop social skills, vocational skills. We do interview training. We've got a fund for them. If they need interview clothes, we can help them buy them. And it's just kind of really developing into something that we're super proud of. Plus our community engagement aspect, where we pick a different charity partner. It used to be monthly, but now we're going to do it for 2023. It's going to be 6 different charity partners within the year, and we do mini fundraisers for them. So that's our way of being able to give back. It's also a good way to teach the young adults that are in our program about philanthropy and community and giving back.
So when they leave your program, do they go on to school? Do they go on to other businesses to work? Tell me about that.
There's a couple things that have happened. 3 of the baristas have remained in the program. They're still actively in the program. And we have other kids that are joining. One of the kids who works for me is also starting a job at the library in the next week. Another one is now a sophomore at Westchester University, and she's doing really well. Another one has a work from home job working with Lego kits, and he's doing some things. So, we're hoping that the more kids we have go through the program, the more turnaround there is on them to put their best foot forward and be hired out in the community.
Wow. Jake, talk to me. What is your favorite part of going to work every day? Is it meeting with the community, right? Your neighbors? Is it making the coffee? Tell me, what's your favorite?
Making the coffee, meeting the community, and helping out my friends and neighbors, and serving the community one cup at a time.
I love this. I mean, think of all the people that you're helping. Go ahead. What were you going to say, Jake?
Go ahead, say it again.
And working with my mother as well.
Oh my gosh. Do you have brothers and sisters? Are you an only child, or tell me?
I have brothers. I have a brother and a sister. I have a big brother named Chris and a sister named Tressa.
Wow. And do they help out too?
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
They do. Teresa is the secretary of our board of our nonprofit. And Christopher, he's very active in his own career, but he comes by and helps out all the time. And his girlfriend does a lot of photography work for us. And it's really an all hands on deck kind of full family effort. My in-laws help out. When we have different events, everybody's there to chip in, and we couldn't do it without our village.
Gosh, tell us some of the super interesting folks that you've met through this, right? Because you've gotten a lot of attention for what you've done. Is there anything in particular you can tell us about?
Who was your favorite person that we got to meet? Everybody, but one person in particular, was there anything that was really cool?
I got to meet Ian Bush.
So there's a lot of local,
wow.
There's a lot of local news people.
And Cinema Sickness.
Ian Bush from KYW, which is a local news radio station here.
Yeah.
He came in and brought Jacob a bunch of KYW swag, and Jake was loving that because he makes us listen to news radio in the car. We got to meet Bob Kelly, which is another local newscaster, and Karen Rogers, and he loved that. And what else?
I got to meet Karen Rogers.
Karen Rogers, yes. Who did we meet down at the lake?
Jason Kelsey.
Jason Kelsey, which is a member of the Philadelphia Eagles, and he's our favorite player. So you've had a lot of great opportunities, right?
Right.
And the coolest
coolest
thing to me really is that in 2020, when we started this, Jacob was very introverted. He was very much kept to himself. When people would come into the record store, you would always see Jake in the hallway with his headphones on and on his tablet. He wouldn't make eye contact. He wouldn't communicate. And this has really helped him form an identity of his own. And now, I mean, I joke about this with people because it's kind of embarrassing sometimes, but we'll walk into places and he'll go, "Hi guys, I'm Barista Jake. Maybe you saw me on the news."
Oh, I love it. Hey, look, and our show goes all over the country and even the world. So now everybody's going to know who you are, Jake. And they're going to know
who you are.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, if that's not so darling, I have to tell you, that is beautiful.
Yeah, he's nothing but charming.
Yeah. Gosh, have you ever been asked to sort of break out of the community and bring this elsewhere? Because boy, if we don't need a Barista Jake everywhere, right? In communities around the country. This is a beautiful story.
We have, and we've done some public speaking engagements, and there's a few more things that we're working on. We've been reached out from a couple LA resources that have been interested in doing stories on him, but we're just one cog in the wheel of a lot of families of special needs individuals that have basically taken their child's future into their own hands and created employment and advocacy for them. I mean, in our general area, all within, I would say, a 30-mile radius of our shop, I can name 6 or 7 other special needs family owned businesses that,
wow.
And everybody's doing something different. But the focus for all of us is to have a legacy for our children, because sadly right now there's not enough employment opportunities for the differently abled people. There's not enough community understanding of people that are on the spectrum or have other intellectual disabilities or hearing disabilities or vision disabilities or any type of delay. So, we're just one of many businesses that saw the need and didn't want to just sit back and wait for somebody else to have an opportunity for our child. We created one for him.
Have you partnered with anyone, any businesses in particular, to get the coffee? Like, how do you do all that? Who does the logistics?
So, well, I kind of do most of it. Yeah. I'm the social media person. I'm the, I'm the cook. I'm his Uber. It's really me. And then, him, but my board does a lot, but I've partnered with, Reading Coffee Company. They do the roasting of our beans. So we have 4 of our own blends of coffee. We have a decaf. Okay. We have 3. We have a Colombian. We have a medium roast, and we have a dark roast called Jakezilla. And we ship the coffee out. They're all private labeled bags. We ship them all over to whoever wants them. We did 2 Christmas coffees this year too. We have a relationship with some local stores that are selling his coffee. And
that's beautiful.
And we just kind of continue, we're continuing those relationships.
How many employees do you have that are special needs? And how many go through the program? How long is the program?
The program is generally going to be about a year and a half, but it's evolving. Oh, wow. It's evolving. And right now we've had 15 people that are included currently in the program or have gone through the program. There's only 2 or 3 that are no longer actively working with us because they've got other jobs. The rest of them are still coming in during the summers or during breaks. And it's an ongoing thing. Even when they feel that they've gotten everything that they need to get from an vocational standpoint, if they a year from now come to me and say, listen, I have an interview with XYZ company, I've made a promise to them and a vow to their parents that I will work with them on interview preparation, make sure that they've got their resume correct and that everything's together. Because I left a career in recruiting to focus on this for my son. So it's all part of our mission.
Wow. So now with the nonprofit, are you doing pretty well with getting in donations? Because obviously it's more than just selling the coffee. Right?
Yeah. So, I am, yes and no. There are some incredibly generous people. We've never received any government grants or any funding like that. I don't have any corporate donors. So our fundraising and our efforts have really all been grassroots. We have a golf outing and we're planning like a sort of a gala, but not a formal gala for next year. Ideally, and it's funny that you bring that up because we just had a board meeting last night. And one of the things that I was saying to my board is I really need corporate sponsors. I need those big ticket donors because I can't do this all by myself. I haven't been on payroll. I haven't had payroll for myself in almost 3 years. And my husband and I have put everything that we have into this. So it would be wonderful if we can get some grants and some assistance so that I can kind of breathe a little bit and focus on the additional programs that we want to bring forth.
What would they be? What are those programs?
I want to work with other businesses to adapt their interview process. I want it to be a more inclusive interview process. We partnered with a great nonprofit called Integrate for Good. And one of the things that they're doing is really kind of bringing awareness to corporate America, right? And that's really what we want to do as well. I like to tap into my network of HR people and say, listen, as a country, we need to adapt the way that we're interviewing the special needs population. Because I know for a fact that many of these participants in our program could be excellent employees and they would do a phenomenal job, but the interview process would hurt their chances for a multitude of reasons. It could be the lighting, it could be too much stimuli in the environment. There's a lot that goes into understanding the capabilities of a special needs person. And I'm not just basing it off of Jacob, and I'm not just basing it off of people with autism, because the kids that are in our program they run the gamut. We have kids that have severe, almost debilitating anxiety. We have a couple kids that have experienced some suicidal ideation and depression. And when I say special needs, I'm not just talking about a physical or an intellectual disability. It could be an emotional problem as well. And,
right.
There's a couple people that don't have an official diagnosis that have reached out to me, but they do identify as having severe anxiety, and going and filling out an application is so overwhelming for them. So if they can spend some time with us and we can work through some of those fears and the anxiety that comes along with that, then that's all part of what we want to do as well, because there's a lot of great talent that's being left on the bench.
I really hope some potential corporate sponsors hear this, because this is absolutely phenomenal. I love a grassroots, business that starts up to really help the community, and then we can see the need for it to expand. So I love what you're doing. Jake, is there anything you'd like to tell our audience about you, about what days you're open so people can come and see you and meet you and get a cup of coffee?
We're open Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Mondays and Tuesdays, we are closed.
Okay.
What time? Wednesday through Friday, we're open 10 to 3. And Saturdays and Sundays, it's 9.
It's 9 to 2.
9 to 2. But we always encourage people to check out our social media. Because that's the other thing. So I'm also the webmaster. I created our website, which is crappy because it's just a drop down site. And so whenever we have changes to our schedule, because we do a lot of mobile coffee events, meaning we do community events where we're serving coffee in the community. And we actually were gifted an ambulance from Plymouth Ambulance Squad this past April. And one of my board members, who also happens to be a very dear friend of mine, basically revamped the entire ambulance and turned it into a mobile coffee truck. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So just this past Sunday, we did our community's Christmas tree lighting event. And, we had 300 people in line for hot chocolate and hot coffee. So, there are times that we have these mobile events or these community events and we can't be in our brick and mortar location. So we always post that on our social media, because I don't want somebody coming in and saying, oh, well, we came in, but you weren't there.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful.
So figure out how to clone us. That's what we have to do.
I get it. And then of course there's the old-fashioned sign in the window: meet us over by the Christmas tree lighting. You'll see us in the refurbished ambulance. So
that's right.
Gosh, I'm so appreciative to both of you. I mean, talk about the spirit of the holiday, right? Yeah. So because I actually have to let you guys go, but any parting words about the holidays and giving that you'd like to say to our audience?
I like celebrating the holidays. I like giving back to the community. And I hope I'll be able to do that to my child someday too.
Oh, well, that's my that's my Christmas right there. That tells me that his father and I have done a pretty decent job modeling humanity for him.
Well done, Angela McFarland, and well done, Jake of Jake's Barista. Absolutely. We couldn't possibly end on a more beautiful note for the holidays. Please, people, give. It matters, and it matters. Look what you've both done. This is so impressive. This is so beautiful for people to hear and to see. You as a family, and you as people in the community. This is just wonderful. Thank you so much. We are honored to have you join us. Wait, what do we have here? What are you holding?
Oh, get the other one. Let's show them both. So this is Fonzie.
Hi, Fonzie.
This is one of our dachshunds. It's a dachshund. And this is Laverne, his little sister.
Fonzie and Laverne. I don't even need to ask where you got those names from. Absolutely adorable. Laverne needs a little hula skirt on, doesn't she?
I know.
Oh, beautiful.
A leather jacket.
So, all right, everybody, go over to the shop. It is called Coffee Closet with Barista Jake, and maybe those two also will be joining. And by that, I mean Laverne and the other little guy over there. I mean, how adorable are they?
They're always
Laverne and Fonzie. Beautiful.
Yeah, they're shop dogs. They're always with us.
Oh, adorable. So there's an added bonus. You get to meet those two as well. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. You can learn more about Jake's if on our website. We're going to be posting that as well. Okay. And you'll find our show on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and then, of course, as an audio version, just type it in, our show, Deborah Kobylt Live, and Jake's Baristas, and then you'll find it on iHeartRadio, Amazon, just about anywhere, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that you get your podcasts, you'll also find our audio version as well. So thank you both for joining us.
Thanks,
bye,
Deborah.
Jake. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
And bye to Angela. And thanks, everybody.